Let's have a seat. Okay. Oh, it's a little cold. Not gonna sit there. Too cold on the ass.
Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about volume. Now, I've talked about volume and how I measure it in previous videos, so if you haven't checked out those videos, look up the video title called Volume and How I Measure It. But the bottom line is that higher amounts of volume are sometimes necessary, but sometimes higher amounts of volume in one workout is different than higher amounts of volume in a total given week, which is why I'm going to talk about changing up how you view volume and how you mess around with it a little bit in order to get the most amount of results. If you're watching my videos, you'd be a lot stronger. Don't you think?
Possibly. I want to know one more.
Now, it's no secret that sometimes you'll do higher volume workouts. In one individual workout, you might do 15 sets or 10 sets or 20 sets or whatever for a given body part. And then in other workouts, you might do less sets and have super intense workouts, even though there's a lower amount of volume, right? But a lot of times what people will do is that they'll say a certain amount of volume is like a static thing where it's always the same. And then sometimes I work out more, sometimes I work out less. But of course, the more you work out, the less volume you can really tolerate, because your body needs to recover, right? And the more volume, the more damage there's done. So a lot of times you'll find that there's a little bit more rest that is needed. Also, when you're doing more volume, you will also notice that you're the strongest in the first 5 or so sets, but then after that, it becomes more of an endurance type workout where you're really working those endurance fibers, because the fast twitch fibers are already worn out by the time you get into the later sets. Now, each person is going to have a different tolerance to this, but we can all agree on that when fatigue hits, that the endurance fibers start to take over. So what I do is that I will perform workouts where I do higher volume for periods of time, and then I'll notice that I almost get burned out a little bit. And then it seems like my body seems to tolerate small amounts of volume, but more often. In the end, during the whole week, the volume might be the same, but adjusting the parameters in how I approach the volume makes a difference. And that's really my point of this, is that it's good to change it up in how you do the volume and how you perform the volume. Just saying, hey, you do 20 sets or whatever for a body part for a given week is not really a good way of measuring volume, because there's a type of stimulus that's given to the body when you do a lot of sets in one workout, and there's a type of stimulus that's given to the body when you do a lot of sets during a week, throughout the week, but constantly, right? So I find that this subtlety is missed by a lot of people, and it's good to mix these things up back and forth and see which one you respond to the best. I find I respond best to a higher frequency type of training program, which is why I speak about that with lower amounts of volume. But the odd day I do shock the system by throwing in 10 sets or 15 sets for a body part, and I notice that I get results from that. So it's not like either or, it's more about how do you splice the two techniques together and find the ideal ratio for your given body type. That's really what I wanted to say, is that there are different ways to approach volume, and just because you find one way works, don't be afraid to switch it up as far as how you get your overall weekly volume in. And this is another reason why I say weekly volume is not really a good way to measure volume, because how you perform the volume is going to have a different effect on the body, or it's going to stimulate the body in a different way. If I do like 50 sets for a certain body part in a week, but I do it all in one workout, that's going to be a different sort of effect than doing 10 sets 5 days in a row, right? So this is something to pay attention to and something to watch and to play around with. And yeah, be sure to let me know in the comments exactly how this works out for you and what you're noticing as you're playing around with this parameter. So yeah, I hope this helps out in your training. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the Patreon supporters, and take care for now. Mountain. Man, my ass was really cold on that bench. The wind is cold. When there's no sun, it's so cold. You have no idea. It's not cold like Minnesota cold, okay? Because I know there's a dude in the comments that always talks about Minnesota, how cold it is. Yeah, I get it. Okay, fine. Still freaking cold. Guy's on technical support. He's having some issues. I got it on camera. Mountain.